Hey everybody, it's Tiffany with your IoT Minute. I just want to walk you through a progression around kind of what we think of as remote monitoring in IoT, but I want to go back in time. Well, it's not really back in time, it's actually present day, and see how things have evolved and how they can get better and how you can save money and be more efficient around simple things like remote monitoring. So I'm going to zoom in on just a specific use case about reading a meter. So you know the meters you got on your house showing how much electricity you have. Let's talk about meter reading to help walk you through this evolution. So, step one, you got a utility company and they need to find out how much electricity you're using. And so they've got a whole bunch of people working for them, and each of those people have a territory or a region or part of the city or wherever they work that they have to go to and read those meters. So they hop in their pickup truck and they follow the little route map and they drive to the different neighborhoods and they hop out of their truck and they jump over your fence and they walk up and read your meter. And they write down that sensing value of how much electricity you're using on a piece of paper, on a clipboard. Then they go around and they do all that all day, hop back in their truck, go back to their home office. Then they sit down, probably next to the computer terminal, and they transcribe all that stuff they captured on paper and put it into a computer system, whatever backend system that utility happens to be using. Could be an ERP system, it could be a homegrown thing and running in a database. There's all kinds of stuff out there. So that's kind of what I would say is the fully manual way of doing that kind of stuff. It's the most labor-intensive, time-consuming, error-prone way of doing it. Then the mobile revolution came along, and mobile helped speed things up a bunch, and also to try to help reduce errors. So with mobile, instead of that person using a clipboard and paper to capture that information, they probably had a mobile device like a smartphone or a tablet. And so they would go out there and they could capture that information at the meter, and they'd either write it in, type it in on a smartphone or a tablet. They may have barcode scanned something, maybe, probably not, to capture that data. And then they used the magic of wireless to immediately transmit that reading from the meter back to headquarters and straight into the computer system. This was a huge step forward in productivity and reducing time and reducing errors. So mobile was a huge helper. But the next stage of that evolution beyond mobile is the Internet of Things. And this is where you put a sensor on the meter itself. And you've probably heard about these automatic meters. They've been around for a while. They're not widely deployed. But basically imagine, you think about, let's stick with mobile for a moment. You have your device and you have a SIM card in your mobile device that lets it talk over wireless data networks from your mobile operator. Well, that's what kind of happened over time with some of these electricity meters on your house. They put smarter ones in there. And these smart meters had a SIM card, and they could just transmit the reading of how much electricity you're using back to the headquarters and immediately get that right into the system. So that's IoT, and that takes us to kind of that third stage. We went from manual to mobile to IoT, where you get that accurate data. You still use wireless networks, but it's coming in real time or as often as you need it to. Maybe it's only once a month. This way is way more efficient. You reduced massive labor costs, you reduced massive time inefficiencies, costs for vehicles driving all over the place, costs for fuel, costs for maintenance. All this adds up massively. Is there an initial capital cost in getting smart meters and setting up the networks? Absolutely. That's why you have that payback time, that ROI, and you figure out how long is it going to take for me to recoup that. It's not very long, as it turns out. And then over the long haul, you've just saved yourself potentially millions, maybe tens of millions of dollars, depending on how big of a region the utility is working in. It could be a giant city. You could be talking lots and lots of money. It's all about IoT. It makes lots of sense. It's going to save you lots of money and increase efficiency. So go do it. I'm out.